kopya muna, tapos binigay na pagdating doon. Bakit ganun? Samantalang March 10 pa lang nagmo-mobilize na ng libo-libong pulis. Pagkatapos alam na natin na magkakaganito dahil nabalitaan na nga sa Hong Kong. Kung ganun, bakit walang warrant doon sa mismong pag-aresto? Electronic copy lamang at nagpa-imprenta pa. Ba't nagkaganon?
May I differ on the wisdom of the SOJ to explain on the legality of the electronic copy of the warrant, ma'am?
Hindi naman tinatanong yung legality. Okay lang yun. Ang tinatanong ko, bakit parang unprepared kayo samantalang prepared na si General Marbil?
Madam Chair, I just want to make clear na ang trabaho po ng police really to assist po yung PCTC natin. Yun po yung, and what we have is tama po yung sinasabing order ng diffusion. So ito po yung nangyari, we rely po dun sa PCTC, dun sa lahat ng mga documents that they need na gagamitin po dun sa affect ng arrest. Ito po yung ginawa po ng, again, uulitin ko, we are...
dapat yung PCTC nagdala ng warrant. Ba't nga ba kayo walang warrant?
It was stated, ipapadala po through diplomatic channels Naka-state po yun
So, dapat diplomatic channel. Nangyari ba yun? Kung diplomatic channel yung DFA, ano nangyari sa warrant na yan? Sa dinami-dami ng handa ninyo, sa libo-libong pulis at sundalo na kinalampag, wala bang nag-isip na kinakailangan dalhin yung warrant?
Your Honor, if I may, wala po kaming information o wala kaming natanggap at all.
Kayo naman sa PCTC, wala rin kayong natanggap?
We requested for a copy of the warrant and we got it the next day.
The next day being?
The warrant that came from the
Kaya nga, what day
system. The next day is 12.
So, hindi rin ninyo na ipakita kay Presidente Duterte? Bale tama, si General Torre, na warrantless arresto.
Pinakita po namin yung hard copy sa 250, pero sa lawyers po niya natin binigay.
Madam Chair, can I clarify?
Kasi ang sinasabi din na redacted copy lang ang binigay, hindi rin kumpleto, kaya hindi nila mabuo. At yun nga, nagkagulatan
Can I clarify that? Sir, it was a sealed warrant, correct? Hindi.
Hindi po. Electronic yung nakuha po na...
No. Ano ang pinadala ng ICC? Kasi parang sa ibang news report, sabi sealed. Pag sealed kasi, hindi dadaan ng DFA yon. So, yun nga ang question.
What was sealed, sir, was the warrant of arrest was sealed before March 11.
Yes. Tapos kanino, sir, pinadala? Sino magbubukas nun?
When they demanded a copy of the warrant, we relied on our fail-safe mechanism. We have a fail-safe mechanism to make sure that the documents are secure in our possession. So it's the DOJ that produced the warrant.
Hindi sa may bias ako sa DFA, but I've worked with these people. Kasi pag sealed, may option na hindi padaanin sa kanila. At kahit pinadaan sa kanila, I don't think they have the authority to open it.
Yes, but we have to use our fail-safe because the PCTC could not produce the warrant, so we have to use our fail-safe.
But once naman it's opened by the proper authority who's allowed to open it, diba, to unseal it, then, syempre, Philippine law na. Ipapakita mo talaga dun sa
Yes, we showed it to the President and to his lawyers.
Teka, mapapaliwanag lang ako. Tell me candidly, at the time you apprehended PRRD, nung inaresto si former President, yung ICC warrant, nasa inyo na ba, General Torre? Yung totoo. Kasi you're under oath.
Yes, ma'am. It is with us.
It was already with you.
Yes,
Electronic.
Yes, ma'am.
Electronic. Wala
Yes,
kayong
ma'am.
official copy?
Electronic
O
copy,
walang
ma'am,
hard copy?
electronic copy given to me by Yusek Nikiti of the DOJ, ma'am.
Sa DOJ. Sa inyo, kasi parang nagtuturoan kayo, sabi ninyo, na dapat yung PCTC ang nagbigay. Pero wala kayong binigay. Sabi ninyo, dapat DFA. Nalilito po.
Hindi po. Hindi po nagtuturuan. We had the copy of the warrant, that electronic copy of...
Dinami-dami lang nag-aresto kay Presidente. Walang nag-isip na kinakailangan bigyan ng kopya na hard copy, opisyal, at talagang...
binigyan po namin sa...
Saan?
250 po, binigyan po namin. Nung ma-print na po yung hard copy...
Saan yun?
Sa 250 po.
Sa Villamor.
Meron.
Ano yung 250 po?
Sa Villamor po, Binigyan po siya ng kopya, hard copy po.
So, nandun, anong oras?
About shortly before 12 po, around 12, around noon at that time po.
Noon. Noon time? Naibigay ng noon time?
Opo.
Pero anong oras ba hiningi? Di ba napakaaga pa noon?
Humihingi po sila from the tube. Starting from the tube, humihingi na po
Anong
sila.
oras yun? Nung hiningi
When
sila?
they arrive po, it's about 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. So, 2 oras makalipas bago ninyo
Ma'am,
naibigay.
just to be clear,
Yes.
just to be clear, General Tara, maybe you can explain the process of serving the electronic copy, which constitutes a legal form of serving the warrant. Yes, ma'am. After they disembarked, as I have learned from General Torre, they asked that it be postponed, that they be brought first to, ano ba nangyari doon, General, pagkatapos doon?
They only disembarked when the electronic copy was produced and given to them. So, kaya sila lumabas. And when they step out of the plane, at the junction of the moving part of the tube, PG Fadulyon met them and attempted to read the rights to President Duterte. And all of them said, pwede ba mamaya na yan at pa-diffuse muna natin ang attention. Doon na lang sa 250th Airlift Wing. So, we acceded to that request. We arrived at the 250th Airlift Wing. They were given refreshments. They were allowed to refresh. They were allowed to, para generally, pababain lang ang tension ng lahat. And then we, after an hour or two, we returned, and that was the video that you saw when I was reading the rights in the cell phone, which basically is memorized already. So just a formality, and then they asked at that juncture, they asked for the written, they want the printed copy. So I went out of the room, stepped out of the room, printed it, and gave it to them.
Okay, yung printed copy, may allegation na redacted copy daw to. Hindi daw kumpleto, hindi daw buo. Parang simplified lang or pinaiklihan. Tama ba? O buong buo?
Buong buo yun, ma'am. It was
Ilang pahina?
15 pages.
Yung 15 pages na kumakalat ngayon,
Yes,
yun na yun?
Yes,
So yun
ma'am.
din ang naibigay doon sa Villamor.
Yes, ma'am. That was properly received by Attorney Delgra in assigned
So, Attorney
receiving copy.
Delgra.
Yes, ma'am.
Pero nakita ko sa ating video na iba ang pangyayari tungkol sa abogado. Pwede bang panoorin natin?
Kanina pa eh. Hindi naman lahat, ilan ang hituli ng araw na ito, sir? Sa iba-ibang mga krimen. Ilan ang bigyan ng ganitong...
Kasi nandito kayo na lahat eh. Nag-iisang tao.
Ilan ang bigyan ng
Nag-iisang tao. Dami ko rin sa labas.
Siya daw kayo kami.
Sir, hindi ko hiningi ng favor. Just invoke Article 59. Bakit hindi yan magawa-gawa?
Dali,
That's precisely the point I'm saying.
Please lang. Bawal hawakan. Bawal hawakan. Bawal hawakan. Umayos na lang. Bawal
The right to
hawakan.
counsel is something that has to be observed and respected.
Kasi nga, hawakan ni lawyer.
Huwag na tayo
Nag-uusap kami.
Huwag mo hawakan ni lawyer. Huwag mo hawakan. Hawakan. Huwag mo hawakan.
Attorney, please.
Huwag mo hawakan. Huwag mo hawakan. Time lang eh.
Kayo mga
Huwag mo hawakan yung nanay ko! Tangina mo!
Kayo mga sundalo, tanungin ko kayo, anong kasalanan ko?
Okay, dito sa video nakikita na si General Torre hinihila yung abogado. Standard procedure po ba ito ng PNP? Bakit mo kinakaladkad yung abogado? Hindi ba karapatan ng isang akusado, arestado na magkaroon ng abogado? Bakit ayaw ninyong palapitin yung abogado?
Ma'am, that's already the time that I'm forcing everyone to board the plane. I'm already forcing the former president to board the plane, ma'am. Tapos na yung napakarami ng optics sa kanilang ginawa dyan, ma'am. And
Interesting use po of force. You were forcing them. So you
ma'am.
admit you forced them, you
I
use
have
violence.
to. I have to because they won't go with us voluntarily, ma'am. So I have tried all the lahat ng pakiusap ay
Naku,
ginawa
General
namin.
naman, sa dinami-dami ng pulis, ang tanda-tanda na, may sakit pa. Sa palagay mo, masisintak pa yun, kaya ba lumaban nun?
In fairness to the President, ma'am, after I handcuffed E.S. Mijaldea and told Attorney Delgado that he's the next one to be handcuffed and boarded on the bus, the former President actually acceded and said, sige na, alis na tayo. And you saw that on video.
Well,
It was
nakita namin,
roaming.
di ba, hinihila mo yung upuan. Hindi ba dapat, talagang General Torre, kailangan makinig ka dun sa sinasabi ng abogado? Di ba karapatan nun?
I have already arrested, I even arrested E.S. Mijaldea, ma'am, for obstruction of justice and placed handcuffs on him. That was already the last parts because masyado ng gabi, abutin na kami ng umaga din, ma'am.
Ilang
It's already
oras na?
unreasonable.
2 oras pa lang. Kalalanding lang ng Hong Kong ng alas 10.
12 hours.
Pa lang to.
12 hours, ma'am.
Kaya nga, anong oras to? Kasi
Mga
sabi
7
mo
o'clock.
kanina, 10 o'clock.
Mga 8 o'clock yan, ma'am. Yung kay Delgra.
O, anong oras na
Mga
yun?
8 o'clock yan, ma'am.
Sa umaga na yan? Gabi?
7 o'clock, 8 o'clock ng gabi na yan, ma'am.
8 a.m.
Sige.
Ay, 8 p.m.
Yes,
Eh,
ma'am.
gano'ng katagal na yun?
10 hours, ma'am. 9 hours.
Naka 9 to 10 hours na. So, sa palagay mo, si former president had sufficient chance to challenge na the validity of the arrest. So, sinasabi ninyo na 9 to 10 hours na yan. Kasi nakuha niya yung warrant nung alas 12 mahigit, hating gabi lampas, ano? Tapos,
Tanghali, ma'am. Tanghali, ma'am. Yan nakuha ang
okay,
warrant.
tapos, tumagal pa sila ng ilang oras. Ng 11 hours, sinasabi po ninyo.
Yes, ma'am. They attended to serve the warrant at when he disembarked. They asked that it be deferred until they reached 250. Upon reaching 250, they asked for some refreshments and they cooled down. Upon being more calm and after conferring with their lawyers, the warrant of arrest was served in total, in full, and their rights were read.
So sa tingin ninyo, itong 9 to 10 hours sapat na para sa isang pangkaraniwang tao na makakuha ng sariling abogado, tapos i-check yung kanyang warrant, pagkatapos mag-draft, mag-file ng maayos na petisyon ng habeas corpus. Ganun ba yun?
Ma'am, you must, I think the records show that there were 3 lawyers with him in conference with him during the entire time. Attorney Delgra.
Paano makakapag-file yun? Gabing-gabi na, hindi naman court hours.
They had filed a case of a TRO with the Supreme Court. They tried their legal remedy. It was duly recorded and there was no TRO given by the court, ma'am. So they, ma'am, just to be clear, they had their chance to seek legal remedy as shown by the actions of their lawyers by approaching the Supreme Court. So there was no due process denied, ma'am.
Siguro sasabihin ko, tatanungin ko kay Attorney Medina, ang ating constitutionalist po rito, masasabi ba natin na nabigyan si PRRD ng sapat na pagkakataon para alamin itong validity ng kanyang, yung katotohanan ng kanyang pag-aaresto? Ilang oras ba yung sinasabi natin na sufficient time, yung sapat na panahon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to clarify, I will just be consistent with the opinion that I posted that there was no reasonable opportunity. That is not to denigrate or cast aspersion on the character or competence of our officials. And also, I have very limited facts when I wrote the opinion. But just to, as a comparison, if you filed an extrajudicial proceeding, if you will file a petition, the court will order the arrest. The subject of the arrest will have the opportunity to answer, and then the court will have the opportunity also present evidence. The court will have the opportunity to weigh the evidence, and then issue the ruling. For example, in the case of Mark Jimenez, he had more or less over a year to dispute his extradition. So if that would be the standard, that that might be considered reasonable opportunity to be heard.
So yung sinasabi nila na naka-10 oras na nag-iintay, talagang panay pa rin ang tutol, hindi sapat na panahon yun. Kasi magpipila ka pa ng kaso, magdadraft ka pa ng petisyon, dadalhin mo pa. Hindi po ba? So hindi pa rin sapat kahit sabihin natin matagal sila nandun sa airport.
I will just be consistent with what I wrote, Your Honor. My initial view was yes, 6 hours, office hours, or less, 5 hours, to seek relief from the courts may not be characterized as reasonable opportunity to be heard. Of course, that is disputable. That's just my personal opinion with limited facts. I'm sure the officers concerned have good reasons, and that can easily be disputed in court. Thank you.
Yes, para sa amin medyo mabigat nga yung 4-5 oras na bukas ang korte, no? Kasi hindi naman pwede yung hating gabi at hindi naman bukas pa. Talagang alam natin itong mga extradition at kung ano-ano pa, talagang taon-taon yan tumatagal. Hindi oras-oras, kahit naiinip na tayo. Kahit sinasabi ni General Torre, nakakapikon na yung optics nila. Kung ano-ano lang ginagawa, kinakailangan pa rin binibigyan natin ng pagkakataon. So, sa palagay mo, ilang oras ba dapat? Kasi hindi naman bukas ang korte nun, hindi naman office hours eh. Yes, Senator Cayetano po.
No, Madam Chair, konting latitude lang from SOJ because kanina we agreed to disagree already, and kaya nga ang appeal ko sa kanya to make rules kung ano ang reasonable time. And since my wife is a mayor and I was speaker and DFA secretary before, I do understand from the enforcement point of view, di ba, sa police, sir. Siyempre, pag may hulihin, mission-oriented kayo eh. Parang yung military, di ba? Ang mission nyo, ma-arrest, di ba? But that's why nga, meron kang Solgen, meron kang SOJ, meron DILG. So ang viewpoint ng DILG, ng police, ng NBI, halimbawa, hulihin at ma-return yung warrant successfully, di ba? But even si E.S. Miguel Dia, who, remember, he was, you can call it a vacation or a working trip in Hong Kong, na rally, sinamahan lang, didn't expect a 20-hour flight, didn't expect to do all of this. And he only saw the president, former president, an hour before he appeared before ICC, and hindi naman niya alam yung rules ng ICC, etc. So, ito ang sinabi niya, di ba? 2 days ago, the world has witnessed the degrading fashion in which a former president of a sovereign country was bundled into a private aircraft and summarily deported to The Hague. To us lawyers, this would be called an extrajudicial rendition. To the less inclined, it was pure and simple kidnapping. My client was denied all access to the legal recourse in the country of citizenship, and this all in the nature of political score setting. So I won't read the score setting, etc. Alam naman natin lahat, but just to go down, ito, sabi niya. So 1, 2, 3, 4. On the 5th paragraph, I have not been able to explain to him what the prosecution requested when seeking the issuance of arrest warrant. This is because the chamber only established a redacted version of the prosecution last night. Other than to identify myself, my client is not able to contribute anything to this hearing. I cannot speak for former E.S. Miguel Dia. Ang impression lang, at least sa internet at sa amin, I talked to him. He's the only one I talked to. I haven't talked to the Vice President since 2018 or 2019. I saw President Duterte. Parang 2022 pa, I'm not sure, no? But ang point ko, tama-tama nung may kinakamusta ako dun sa Netherlands, katabi niya si ES, ang sinabi lang niya sa akin at that time, wala sa ospital, pinangako sa amin dalhin sa ospital, pumunta kami dito sa center, detention, wala daw Rodrigo Duterte or President Rodrigo Duterte. 30 minutes later naman after talking, it was on the news, so that's all public record. So I haven't talked to him, so I don't know kung ano yung stand niya. But I did hear SILG say that nakatape naman lahat to. So I'm not going to ask you to produce it now dahil may court dates pa kayo. But at the right time, just for the committee's accuracy and to be precise in our findings. Yun nga, if there are parts na ibigay nyo where sinasabi at pinapakita yung warrant, ano yung warrant, or a copy of what he showed. I'm just saying that we will go back and forth kasi consistent naman kanina pa. Yes,
We
ma'am.
have a picture here if we can show
Okay.
you, but maybe General Torre can approach.
Yeah,
and show
no,
you the picture.
sa committee or after, or if you want to show. Ang point ko lang, factually, consistent naman kayo kanina pa na pinakita, hindi doon sa 250, di ba? We're just going back and forth, so I just wanted to escape that. And then I don't know what their lawyers are saying na hindi pinakita. Okay, so, but thank you for that, SLG. So, yung last point ko nga kay Tony Alexis, in the form of a few questions. Sir, does the quality of your petition to the court matter? In terms of due process and satisfying reasonable manner that the accused was given the opportunity to seek legal remedies.
You mean to say, Your Honor, you think of due process, the petitioner should have enough time to come up with a quality petition?
Well, quality lawyers, because if I'm consulting an immigration lawyer for a criminal, I don't know the practice of E.S. Miguel Dia. Well, at the last 6 years, I do know that he was E.S. In his younger years, he was my dad's partner before nag-iba-ibang law office. Parang hindi ko alam kung litigation or labor. So ang point ko lang, di ba, the quality of the petition you file is also part of due process, meaning having enough time with your lawyer, being able to choose kung sinong lawyer, the combination of your lawyers, whether saying, sir, pang RTC to, sir, pang Supreme Court. I read marami sa internet na bakit hindi ununa yung writ of habeas corpus, application for the writ of habeas corpus versus the TRO. The explanation, sorry guys, talagang sa Facebook at sa news, but sa news, doon ko rin nabasa, so I'm not saying it's true. Maraming fake news in all sides, but I'm just telling you honestly where I got my news. At sinasabi nga na si attorney, how do you pronounce it? Torion? No, the one who filed sa TRO, yung Torion, di ba? Sinasabi kasi nga, si Attorney Torion somehow worked on it na nung may balita pa lang sa Hong Kong. Kaya yun yung final. I don't know if it's true or not, but my point is, I see from the enforcement side, binigyan nyo ng 10 hours, 12 hours, but from the accused side, enough time to pick my lawyers, to give the facts, to look at the warrant, to look, kasi ako lang, 2 days na ako nag-aaral sa hearing na to, hirap pa eh. So if I'm not a practicing lawyer in the sense na nag-litigate, di ba? But I don't think I'll be able to put a really good petition to the Supreme Court or to the RTC in 2 days. Di ba? So to say may 12 hours na. So my question was really, hindi ba part ng due process then yung reasonable opportunity to the best defense available to you?
If I may, Senator, there are actually no clear constitutional or jurisprudential standards on the quality of legal service as an aspect of due process. But it's arguable that the quality, the opportunity to get quality legal service, the opportunity to get to submit a quality legal work should be should be also part of the guarantee of reasonable opportunity to be heard of due process. So personally, I would agree, but unfortunately, it's still something that should be argued po. Maraming salamat.
Sige. I just wanted to make the point na for me, yung part ng due process doon is yung best defense available sa kanya is made available precisely. Because if you will dictate to me ano defense ko, problema yon, di ba? So, kung titignan mo sa Hague, so hindi nila pwede pang question dun sa unang hearing, let me just call it unang hearing, yung jurisdiction, yung pagpunta doon, and then September pa. Dito, unless you're caught in flagrante delicto, and unless i-inquest ka, a number of days ang ibibigay ng fiscal, tapos sasagutin ng abogado mo. So mahaba pang proseso bago ka, and that's for simple cases, for theft, etc. Lalo pagka for murder. And even sa inquest, may time na binibigay na papakawalan mo. So I just wanted to make that point na ibang-iba. And just an observation, Madam Chair, dito po sa information on the surrender and transfer, nakalagay kasi dito, number 14, the ICC representative informed Mr. Duterte the next step that would be followed, that he's going to be transferred to the ICC detention center by the Dutch authorities. He was informed that he was being arrested in the implementation of ICC warrant for arrest, that he was informed he will be checked by medical professionals. He was informed he has the right to receive family visits. He was informed that his first appearance will take place soon. He was informed he would be taken to hospital. He was informed he would receive a folder at the detention center with his rights and information on the next procedural step, no? And then si E.S. Miguel Diang, sinabi niya, what did he say about sinabi niya the next day pa, or hindi, may sinabi siya after the hearing, di ba? Na basically na hindi pa nila alam yung charges. So again, tama si SOJ na iba sistema nila. For all we know, they were following their system. But that's my point nga. Iba sistema nila sa atin. And we subjected not only an ordinary Filipino citizen, but a former president to that. So parang on trial din tayo doon. I'll defer back to you, Madam Chair, but later I have some questions on fact.
Yes, sa news footage, naipakita rin na si former president was checked by medical doctors. Kaya lang, ang sabi, hindi naman doktor ni presidente yun. Is it not under the PNP standard operating procedures na yung arestado may karapatan humingi ng doktor ng kanilang sariling doktor, yung independent and competent doctor of their own choice, ang sabi sa inyong standard operation procedure noong 2012, di ba itong kinikilala ng kapulisan natin?
Ma'am, he has doctors who came over, and I believe they are from Cardinal Santos. We offered also the services of the PNP doctors, and we also offered the services of the post-hospital doctors there in the Philippine Air Force.
Hindi, pero ang mahalaga, yung doktor na talagang doktor niya.
Yes, ma'am. They came from the Cardinal Santos. It's their doctors. What they are actually asking, they even asked for ECG, and the ECG came. That was very, very different from the ordinary Filipinos. And they are asking for, I think, executive checkup. That's one thing that we did not accede to.
Kung sinasabi ninyo, po? Yes, Senator Jinggoy. So, walang katotohanan doon sa sinasabi na hindi ninyo pinagbigyan yung sarili niyang doktor?
No, ma'am. Not true, ma'am.
Okay.
They requested the doctor. The doctors arrived. He was given an ECG. Subsequently, they asked Ms. Hanilet, the common law partner of the former president, for a list of his prescribed medicines. She declined. We asked a rundown of his pre-existing medical conditions. She declined. We asked what allergies he had. She declined. We asked that she board the flight with him going to The Hague. She declined. So all those rights accorded to him were given, and the doctor was given, and we tried to extract as much information as possible, but they all declined.
Okay, Senator Jinggoy, I believe that Secretary John Vic said that these were untrue, that this was all fake news, that in fact his rights were honored, and in fact they provided an ECG which is above and beyond the usual practice. Yes, Senator Estrada, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let it be known that I am not protecting or I'm not defending anyone, much less the former president of the Republic of the Philippines, President Duterte, since I am an ally of this administration led by President BongBong Marcos, and at the same time a friend of Vice President Liza Duterte. Now, since you've been asking the questions addressed to General Torre. May I ask General Torre, how did you think did you handle the arrest of former President Duterte properly?
Yes, sir, I do, sir. It's proper.
It was proper. But when I saw the video, it was really, for me as a citizen of this country, it was really unbelievable. It was a very, very big disappointment. Because I can relate, General. Because when we were arrested, way back 2001, together with my father, the same thing happened. All right, we were in the wee hours of the morning. We were the policemen barged in our hospital room at the Veterans Memorial Hospital. They were arresting us. They wanted us to be transferred to another detention cell because after the May was seized, at ano sabi ng mga police? Kalad ka rin na yan mga yan pag ayaw sumama. And at the same time, when I saw the video, parang nag-flashback sa akin yung ginawa ng mga kapulisan ng araw sa amin. At ang sabi mo, hihilahin ko yan, hihilahin ko yan. Is that what you said, General Torre?
Sir, it's already all optics and tactics already because it's already.
I'm asking you. Did you say that? Hihilahin ko, hihilahin ko.
Yes, sir. And I actually made good of it, sir.
No. What prompted you to say that?
Sir, I made good of it, sir. Sabi ko, sir, hihilain ko yan. And I went back to AS Medalea, handcuff him.
Bakit mo nga sinasabi? You know, your statements based on the video may reflect the PNP as an institution. Baka sabihin lahat ng ating mga kababayan, ganyan pala yung mga pulis. Masyadong wala man lang respeto sa matanda, sa isang dating pangulo. Ganun din ang ginawa sa amin eh. Can you justify why you said that hihilahin ko yan? Nakita ko si dating Pangulo Duterte, di naman lumalaban. What prompted you to say that?
Mr. Senator, respectfully, the threat of hihilahin ko na yan was not towards the president, the former president. It was ensued after a heated argument between his counsel and General Torre. In no way was the former president threatened with bodily harm.
Yes,
Who was addressing the sila sabihan ni General Torre? Was it the lawyer or was it the former President Duterte?
Lawyer, sir, Attorney Medalea. And actually, sir, after that, I actually went back to him, placed handcuff on him after reading him his rights and arrested him for obstruction of justice. And after that, sir, I brought him to the bus and came back again and told Attorney Delgra he's next. And again, sir, I will reiterate with all credits goes to the former president because after he saw that I'm already very, very serious in bringing him to the plane, he said, okay, let's go. And I told Romy, the PSG, to just escort him and he went voluntarily to the bus that brought him to the plane.
Sisingit lang ko Senator Jinggoy. Kasi binabasa ko dito yung standard operating ng PNP. Liwaliwanag naman eh. No torture, no force, no violence, threat, intimidation, or other means to vitiate the free will to be used against the arrested person. And di the more so, yung mga kasamahan ng arestado. Eh sabi mo nga, ikaw na nag-admit forcefully. Eh talagang you use force. Eh bawal po yun.
Ma'am, it is, I placed E.S. Medalea under arrest for obstruction of justice.
Eh, sabi nga ni Senator Jinggoy, hihilain mo pa.
Yes, ma'am. I did because I have to get into their heads to make them to make it very, very clear to them that we are already very, very serious of blocking the president to
Oo
the
naman,
plane.
General, pinapaliwanag mo, pero bawal ang paggagamit ng dahas, ng pananakot, ng intimidation, or any other means. Ano liwanag eh, nasa kapulisan yan eh.
Just to be clear, operationally, there was obstruction of justice. It was the decision call of General Torre to place him under arrest for obstruction of justice. Now let us separate what happened to the president.
You're talking about Attorney Medialdea.
Yes, ma'am.
Eh, paano yung iba?
No one else was harmed, ma'am.
Yung attorney.
No, wait.
Yung abogado.
If I may, Senator Amy.
Yes.
Madam Chair.
Ayan.
Sino yung kinaladkad nung isang pulis,
Yung security na nakaitim.
I think it was General Torre, na hinila yung isang abogado.
Dalawa yun eh, yung abogado, hinila yung upuan, di ba? Tapos yung nakaitim na secure, kinaladkad din.
Si Attorney Del Gra, sir, because he's next to be arrested. And because of that, the former President PRRD saw that I'm already that serious. And he said, he prevented the situation from further deteriorating and escalating. So he said, let's go.
Isn't he entitled to a counsel of his choice, General?
Yes, sir. For 12 hours, he was there.
Oh. Can he speak to his client? Bigla nyo na lang...
They are there for 12 hours, sir, speaking to each other.
Ano?
They are there for 12 hours, speaking to each other, sir.
One more thing that I noticed in the video, no? Ang sabi ni PRRD, papasukin niyo yung anak ko. Abogada siya. At ang sinabi mo, hindi ko siya papapasukin. Why not, General Torre?
That is a decision. That is my call, sir. That is my decision. Considering that I had already been assisted by 3 lawyers all throughout that time, sir. And gabi na ho yun, sir. The request was made at around mga 9 o'clock na, sir. 11 hours after the first arrest.
Tanggalin mo na yung titulo ni Inday Sara. Kalimutan mo na siya na Vice President. So, pagpalagay natin hindi siya Vice President. She is an immediate member of the family. Nung kami po ay nakakulong, ang immediate members of the family, 24 hours pwede bumisita sa amin, nakakulong kami. Ito hindi pa nakakulong. Anak ito. Bakit hindi niyo pinapasok?
Maliban doon, is this not a violation of RA 7438 that requires that you guarantee access to an attorney? In addition to the immediate family, the President also said na yung anak niya, yung babae, abogado ko yun, papasukin nyo. Hindi nyo pinapasok. Abogado yun eh.
Actually, sir, first to answer the question of Senator Estrada, sir. I have told the President that they can visit him at his detention facility because at this time the order of the day is to load him into a plane. So that's what we endeavor to do, and that's what happened, sir.
Ano niya bibisitahin yung tatay niya sa Netherlands? Hindi naman dito tinry eh. Hindi naman dito kinasuhan eh. Sa ibang bansa eh. Oh. Bakit hindi niyo man lang binigyan ng kortesiya yung anak na isang abogada na magkukonsulta? Katulad nga na sinabi ko kanina, yung mga nakakulong nga, 24 hours pwede bumisita ang immediate members of the family. Bakit ito hindi pa nakakulong, hindi niyo pinapasok yung anak?
Our mission at that time, sir, is to deliver him to the body who issued the warrant, sir.
Nasa batas yan. Nasa batas yan, General. Immediate members of the family, lawyers, priests, etc., etc. I should know. Nanggaling ako dyan. Tapos ito, hindi naman nakakulong. Again, I am not defending President Duterte. I'm just explaining the rights of an accused. Because naging akusado rin ako. And I don't want that to happen to anybody else. Dapat naman nagbigay kayo ng konting kortesiya o respeto man lang sa mga dating presidente dahil naranasan namin yan. Nung kinulong po yung tatay ko, ganun din. Kung walang respeto ang mga pulis sa amin. Porket nawala na ba kami sa kapangyarihan, ganun na lang. Matanong ko naman siya, General, wag naman po sana mangyari, God forbid. Sa pag sinapit ng ni President, pag sumapit ng ganitong sitwasyon si Presidente Marcos, gagawin mo rin ba yun sa kanya? I hope not.
Ang liwanag po ng batas, kung ma-follow up ko lang si Senator Jinggoy, tama po siya. Hindi lang yung immediate family, medical doctor, pare or religious minister, any national non-government organization ng CHR, International Non-Government, accredited by the Office of the President. Lahat yan may access, pero pinagbawalan ninyo. On 2 counts, immediate family na, abogada pa niya. Bakit ganun?
Ma'am, I think that that's sub judice. I think we should be wary of many of the things you're mentioning
Bakit
here.
po naging sub judice yun?
Ito kasi, habeas corpus po ang petition. So everything about the arrest will be asked by the Supreme Court.
Kanina pa natin pinag-uusapan yung arrest.
Pero I think that we're just passing, parang lumalapas na po tayo sa boundary.
Senator Jinggoy po.
Ang sinasabi ko lang, the manner on how the former president was arrested, because ayoko naman mangyari sa darating na panahon na magkakaroon naman tayo ng ganyan. Sana makapagbigay lang ng korting kortesiya man lang, nakausapin yung mga abogado, pero nakausapin yung mga members ng immediate family niya, sana naman binigyan niya ng pagkakataon. Kaso mo, nung nakiusap si dating Pangulong Duterte na papasukin yung kanyang anak na abogada, tanggal mo na hindi siya, na vice presidente siya. Abogada at anak niya, member ng immediate family, sana naman lang binigyan niya ng pagkakataon. Makita niya yung tatay niya bago niyo siya isinakay sa plano. Yun lang naman yung sa akin. Masakit. Ako, isang anak na meron din akong tatay na ginano ninyo. Masakit para sa akin.
Pakipaliwanag din. Maraming salamat, Senator Jinggoy. Marami tayong pinagdaanan, kapatid. Kaya eto nga, talagang dinudibdib natin ito. Yes, Secretary John Vic lang po.
Kay VP, kay Senator at sa iyo, hugot ng mga anak ng presidente yan.
Sumpa. Secretary John Vic, itatanong ko lang, why was there obstruction of justice? Paliwanag lang. Anong ginawa nila na obstruction of justice?
I think General Torre would be the best one to explain that, ma'am.
General?
Sir.
Sabi niyo nag-obstruction of justice, kaya aarestuhin na rin ninyo si Attorney Medialdea. Ano po yung ginawa ni Attorney Medialdea na obstruction of justice?
We're about to load an arrested person into a plane to transport him to the tribunal who issued the warrant. And Attorney Medialdea is preventing us from doing that. He shouted at us and intimidated us, including the president intimidating me.
Alam ko malaking tao si Attorney Medialdea, pero hinarang ba kayo, tinulak ba kayo, wala namang ginawa eh. Hindi naman nagandaan sa salita yung obstruction eh.
He did, ma'am. So I do believe that under that circumstances, I have to arrest him and I do believe that I used the reasonable force to ensure compliance for him to step aside for us to load the former president to the plane.
So yun lang yung obstruction dahil nagsisigawan yung mag-asawa.
He is preventing us from doing our job of loading the former president to the plane.
Hinarang ba kayo?
Yes, ma'am.
Anong ginawa? Hindi
Nakikita
namin
naman sa video
makita
eh.
eh. Ang nakita ko lang, pinipilit niyo iposas, hindi magkasya yung posas.
Yes, that's one thing, ma'am. He's blocking my way. He is preventing us. He actually placed another chair at the side of the president for the former president to sit, which is already very much delaying everything because the plane is already ready to fly.
Ba't kayo masyadong nagmamadali?
We are going... Una-una, ma'am, ang reglementary period, mamalasin naman kami pag hindi namin ginawa ang trabaho
Bakit?
namin.
Anong reglementary period? Anong period yun?
The Article
Dahil sinabi
125
na nga ni Executive Director sa ating PCTC, na diffusion lang naman yun eh. Wala nga commitment pinag-uusapan dun eh. Wala nga red notice, pambira eh.
There is a warrant.
Tagal na ni Arnie Tevez eh. Wala pa rin, di ba? Ba't kayo nagmamadali? Ano yung reglementary period mo?
May I refer you to the SOJ, ma'am, if the SOJ wants to answer that.
Hindi ba pwede kayo na muna? Mauna lang kayo, tapos sa si SOJ. Pwede.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
My main processes during the time is that I have implemented a warrant, and it is therefore the person is already arrested by virtue of a legal warrant, and Article 125 comes into play of the revised penal code, which is entitled Delivery of Persons Legally Arrested to the Proper Judicial Authority. And I do believe at this point the judicial authority will be the ICC. Therefore, I have to abide with that Article 125 of the
So
revised penal
inaamin
code.
mo warrantless arresto. Kasi yung Article 125 ng RPC does not apply kung may warrant. So inaamin mo walang warrant.
At the many stages, ma'am, all the many other,
Hindi,
more
make
other
up your
laws.
mind, General Torre. Warrantless arrest ba to o may warrant? Kasi ang liwanag naman ng Article 125 ng revised penal
I do
code.
believe that I have a warrant at this time. I just don't want to be...
Hindi walang reglementary period. Mamili ka. Kapag warrantless arrest, edi may period. Kapag may warrant, walang period.
Just the same, ma'am, I have to deliver
Hindi
him to the
pareho
judicial
yun,
proper authority.
kapatid. Hindi magkapareho yun. The reglementary period only comes into play when there's a warrantless arrest in accordance with Article 125 of the revised penal code. Di po ba? At saka may kinalaman yun sa delivery of the accused and arrested. Di po ba?
And I'm being cautioned by the DOJ, ma'am, that it may be sub judice already to discuss that because of the habeas corpus pending in the Supreme Court, ma'am.
Pati ba naman ng revised penal code, naging executive session, pambirang buhay ito. Okay. Senator Cayetano?
Ma'am, can I have a few questions, baka 10 to 15 minutes and a short introduction lang. Okay. So, good afternoon ulit, gentlemen, ladies. Pasensya niyo yung aking introduction. I'm not imposing this on you. This is my personal code, di ba? So, more than being Alang Cayetano or a senator, a former Secretary of Foreign Affairs or former Speaker or Congressman, I believe I'm an ambassador of the Lord Jesus Christ, di ba? So, I'm not imposing that on anyone, but our USEC here will tell you, ambassadors don't have opinions. Kung ano ang sinabi ng principal nila, yun ang iyong opinion. Hindi ka pwede magsariling opinion. So when we pray, yung Lord's Prayer na, your kingdom come here on earth as it is on heaven, you're actually aligning your government and your culture with God's culture, di ba? And God's purpose. Yung pinakasimple is do good or promote good, prevent evil. Parang sa police din, Sir Marbil, di ba, na prevent evil, do good. Saan nagkakatalo? Nagkakatalo dun sa mga pro-Duterte na the drug war was a war for peace and order. It was a war because many pushers and to a certain effect addicts who committed crimes were making people unsafe. So to those who are supportive of that, they're doing God's will of promoting good. Doon naman sa human rights activists, ang ano nila, accountability. So kahit yan ay pusher or addict, hindi dapat patayin na lang or EJK. Wala tayong complication if Duterte was more like FDR or more like Pinoy because his language was more diplomatic. So you wouldn't hear FDR, despite being a distinguished soldier, one of the founders ng special forces, di ba, even sa police, di ba? So, pero kasi si President Duterte may lengguwahe, pag lumaban, patayin nyo yan. His explanation is that yun kasi naiintindihan ng kriminal. Pero ang police, aral yan, so alam nila tama at mali. So if you looked at the videos when I was a foreign minister, I had nothing to do with operations, but part to nung explaining to the world what was happening, and part to nung communications, it was both based on the foreign policy, and the President allowed me to put a little bit of my opinion. So ang stand namin doon during that time, and this is where I'll start my questions, SOJ, is that lahat ng mali iimbestigahan. So the only way that President Duterte will have a chance to show na walang systematic culling of addicts, extrajudicial killing, walang crime against is individual, one-on-one investigations. What confused everything during that time? First, meron po kasing issuance ang sila Secretary de Lima noon, nire-define nila yung extrajudicial killing. AO 35. Kaya yung 13,000 to 18,000 na patay every year during the Aquino administration, suddenly nung Duterte administration, so nung time nila, sinabi nila hindi extrajudicial yon. So nandun sa AO, tinanggal nila yung mga activist na hindi daw extrajudicial killing yon. So pagdating ng Duterte time, basta patay at hindi natural causes, extrajudicial. Okay? Pero klaro din naman na dumami din because nga, once you started the campaign, meron talagang away among the syndicates, meron, from the start, Duterte said, meron politiko, meron police, may businessman, lahat yan may involved sa drugs. And no one of us naman doubted that. Ang question lang, yung due process sa mga police at politiko dun sa drug war. So, klaro tayo dun. So, eto lang yung question ko. SOJ, feel free kung tingin mo, sub judice or issue na to, but factual lang, no? I think this is of public record. Former Senator De Lima was CHR, was a Commission on Human Rights Chairperson 2008 to 2010. Tama, no? Yeah. So, no one disputes that. Sa pagkaalam ko, wala siyang final na case during that time na siya'y CHR. So, I'll just check that, Madam Chair, and then submit it to the committee. But ang pagkaalam ko, walang case. Okay. But eto siguro masasagot ng DOJ kung hindi ngayon, just forward the answer. From 2010 to 2015, despite the investigation of former Senator De Lima noong 2008 to 2010, ang sabi niya, mahirap kumuha ng witness kasi nga mayor pa siya noon, tapos malakas daw sa presidente noon. I think he was peace and order head nung region eh. But 2010 to 2015, siya ang DOJ secretary. Sa pagkaalam ko, wala rin siyang final na case. To your knowledge, may final ba ang DOJ noon or special prosecutor against Duterte ng 2010?
I have no idea,
Yeah.
sir.
Can we double check?
I will double check,
Yeah, okay. Sa pagkaalam ko po, sir, wala. Okay. Ang point ko is that either wala siyang kaso, meaning wala siyang ebidensya, because if she had, why didn't she file it? During the time na siya nakaupo, na walang poder si Mayor Duterte. Okay. Fast forward, 2016, September pa lang, so June 30 kami naging senador. Siya, I was an incumbent noon. July, last week of July, ang third week ang SONA. So July, August, September. No? Wala pang 2 buwan as senator, nakakuha daw siya ng 2 importanteng witness. Si Edgar Motobato and former PNP officer ba siya or Arturo Las Cañas. Again, I won't make a judgment here as far as the 2 witness. But dito niya ginawa, okay? Again, no cases filed. And yung pagkagawa ng hearing was very political. I was just testing the credibility of Edgar Motobato and Arturo Las Cañas. For all I know, they were very credible. Pinatayan ako ng mic dito sa session. Inagawan ako ng mic, ini-intimidate ako. And although namagitan si Senator De Lima, hindi niya sinensure, hindi niya pinagalitan yung umalis ng mic. And anyway, history is the record. Ang point ko, still they did not file cases dito sa Pilipinas. Pero hawak nila yung 2. Sabihin mo nang walang mangyayari, I don't agree, but sabihin mo walang mangyayari kasi panahon ni President Duterte yon. So again, fast forward, no? From 2022, June 30, when President Marcos took over in Marcos administration to present, do you know of cases filed against President Duterte, whether it's murder or crimes against in the Philippines?
I think Senator Sara Trillanes filed cases.
Okay. So,
but this went to the office of the Prosecutor General, who immediately forwarded the said cases without going to my office to the Ombudsman. And there, it's just locked in there already. It never went back to us.
So as we are discussing naman SOJ, this is factual lang naman, di ba? May case ba wala? We're not making judgments dun sa cases. But ang point ko kasi, kung walang case, bakit? Kasi kung walang ebidensya, no point for ICC to take it up kasi wala nang ebidensya. If it's because hindi matry dito for whatever reason, di ba, pinoprotektahan natin, our justice system doesn't work, then dapat mapunta sa ICC. So I don't know the amount of evidence attached to the complaint of Senator Trillanes. Again, I won't comment. Factual lang yun. I have my opinions, but I'll keep my opinion to myself. No? But in June 24, 2022, so ano pa to? Duterte pa to, no? Kasi June 30 pa ang Marcos, di ba? Nag-file ang Solgen sa ICC ng deferral request. So, you're aware of this. Okay. So, tingnan na lang nasa page 315, no? Kasi, can I have the, ayan, sa ICC. I think you talked about jurisdiction but hindi nagsentro sa Article 17 din, pero sa ICC, hindi dun sa batas natin. Okay. So, I think the deferral was based on 18-2. So, just for the record ng mabilis lang, I haven't even read that yet, but just for us understanding, and then baka makatulong not necessarily on what side, but makatulong sa Supreme Court. No? Okay, Article 17, Issues of Admissibility. Having regard to paragraph 10 of the preamble of Article 1, the court shall determine that a case is inadmissible where, okay, ICC to a Rome Statute which we ratified and then we withdrew. No? Sabi A, the case is being investigated or prosecuted by a state which has jurisdiction over it, unless the state is unwilling or unable genuinely to carry out the investigation of prosecution. So again, SOJ, I won't put you on the spot, but for me, 2008 to 2010, hindi naman unwilling at hindi naman unable to carry out yung state. This was the time of President Arroyo. 2010 to 2016, to be fair, niratify yung ICC 2011 pa. So, naging effective 2011. So, wala na yung 2010. But for me, 2010, 2011, ganyan, hindi unwilling ang state. In fact, pumirma nga sa ICC, hindi rin unable yung state. Wala lang talagang final. Letter B, the case has been investigated by the state which has jurisdiction over it, and the state has decided not to prosecute the person concerned unless the decision resulted from unwillingness or inability of the state genuinely to prosecute. In general, SOJ, SILG, no? In general, Sir Marbil, Chief PNP, in general, I don't remember that the Philippine government decided not to prosecute. Diba? Kasi under our present laws, if you find probable cause, even the President cannot stop it. Even ang pardon natin, iba sa US Constitution. Sa pardon, you can pardon right away sa US. Sa atin, kailangan, kailangan final and executory.
Final judgment.
Final judgment, di ba? Final judgment. So, kung nag-a-appeal ka pa, hindi ka pwedeng humingi ng pardon. So, I don't think we stopped any case or refused to, The third one is the person has already been tried for the conduct in which the subject complaint and trial is not permitted. So I think this is their version of double jeopardy. No? So wala din yan kasi wala pa namang kaso si former President, former Mayor Duterte. Letter D, the case is not sufficient gravity to justify further court order. I won't comment dyan kasi nasa ICC yan. Except that, ang nilagay nila, at least 19, and then at least din ba yung 23 o 23. So, I have a little bit of a problem that kasi pag sinabing crimes against humanity, naaalala mo na yung mga dictators of the old sa Africa or some in the troubled areas of not the untroubled areas of the Middle East na grabe ang patayan and everything, di ba? So to put the Philippines there with President Duterte, I think it's a little bit unfair na gamitin mo at least. Diba? Kasi kung sinabi mong from 17 to 1,000, at least may idea tayo. Pero at least 17, ano yun? Baka 18? Baka 19? And don't get me wrong, every life matters. Pero iba kasi yung crime against humanity, iba yung murder lang. No? Again, hindi ko nilalang ang murder in the sense na one life yon, you should still be tried. Diba? So for the record, if we have evidence, we should file the cases here against President. He should face here. Okay. So, mahaba pa to, so hindi ko babasahin lahat. Pero just to go to 18, challenges to the jurisdiction of the court or the admissibility of a case. So, pwede kasing mag-file yung Solgen. And then, nandito, if a challenge is made by the state, the prosecutor shall suspend the investigation until such time as the court in accordance. So, ang point lang dito, and correct me now or later on kung mali, is that at any time, kung alam natin may investigation, pwedeng sabihin nung state tayo na sandali, we're hearing it here, or may ongoing dito, or mali kayo. Of course, they can overrule us. They can say, no, we don't believe justice will be there. So, to my knowledge, during the Duterte time, never tayong nag-intervene na except etong kay Solgen ng June 24. I may be wrong kasi knowledge ko lang to, but June 24, nag-intervene siya. Sinabi niya, sandali lang, please postpone, di ba? Hindi ko pa nababasa anong dahilan na to postpone. During the Marcos administration, we did not, no? We had no filing sa ICC whether na ituloy nyo yan o wag nyo ituloy yan.
It was Secretary Guevara who filed the Philippine position in the ICC.
But that was still Duterte time kasi September.
No, it was already our time.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'll refer to that. But did we ask them to stop or to proceed or?
Yes, we were asking them to stop, but
we asked them to stop.
But we failed the test. We didn't win the case.
Okay. Did they tell you why? Was it our justice system or they said na pwede pa rin? Or just
it's actually the ruling also that what is being tried here is not a country but individuals who may have violated international humanitarian law.
Sige po. But clear naman dun sa Articles 17 and 18, the state intervenes but it's individuals naman eh. Diba? So I won't go into that na. So I'll move on to, sinabi ni SOJ kanina na investigations are ongoing. Diba? Whether this is individual or groups, whether police or nothing to police, diba? Na sa lahat ng extrajudicial killing.
But it has not been easy, Mr. Senator.
It's not.
It has not been easy.
To your point, I don't have it right now, but when Senator De Lima said hindi inimbestigahan, I looked at the investigative capacity of the PNP during the Aquino administration. Parang 1/3 din lang ang naimbestigahan. And of the total na naimbestiga, it was, I will correct my numbers, but it was like only 20% of those investigating were trained for investigation. That was a long time ago at minana din lang ni President Aquino yon. But ang point ko, there was no substantial difference between the investigations in the Aquino and Duterte.
The difficulty that we had from 2022 is that in wrongful death situations throughout the country, where something foul was suspected, there were no police reports.
Okay.
As a matter of practice, there were no police reports on wrongful death situations. And when we tried to dig further and we spoke to the medical legal, the most known medical legal person in the country, Dr. Fortune, when she investigated a wrongful death situation, the death certificate indicated cardiac arrest as the cause of death. But in the autopsy, there were bullet holes in the head.
Well, that is in itself is evidence, di ba?
Yes,
If there was
evidence.
if there was widespread na walang police report, and that's the first time I heard that, because when I was SFA, Foreign Affairs, and I was asking, sinasabi nila, sir, lahat yan at dapat pagka-suspicious, ganito yung sistema, no? And kung meron forensic na cardiac arrest, ganyan, so at the very least, may falsification yan. Di ba?
Yeah, when we looked at the records of the wrongful death situations, there were really no police reports. Maybe 95% had no police reports.
So, anyway, that's for another hearing, etc. Ang point ko lang, our justice system is working.
It is working.
It is working. And
Yes.
it has its ups and downs, and may common belief na pag administrasyon ng presidente, may konting protection for that. May ganun belief, whether it's true or not. But this isn't anymore so 2008 to 2010, 2010 to 2016, kung saan man, kailan man nagkaroon ng break-up yung unity team, hindi na panahon ni President Duterte ngayon to. So,
Actually, what the cases that we are speaking about were filed by their families in the ICC because they could not get justice in the country. I think that's one thing that nobody wants to acknowledge, is that there was a failure of our justice system for a long time. And they had to file their cases in the ICC to get any attention at all from anybody who cared. Because for the longest time, ito mga biktima po, yung mga namatayan, yung mga pamilya nila namatay o kaya napaslang sa drug war, ay wala akong nang mapuntahan. Kaya doon sila nagpunta sa ICC.
That's why I said SOJ na may belief na pag panahon ni Arroyo, it's very hard to go after Arroyo. May truth o hindi in the sense that meron na presidential immunity while you're president. Pero pagkatapos hindi, di ba? That's why after President Erap's time, nakulong siya. After President Arroyo's time, nakulong siya. Di ba? After President Aquino's time, wala naman nag-file ng kaso kay President Aquino. Okay? So kung ang belief, wala kang justice kay Duterte during his time, I won't comment, but that's a belief. But 2008 to 2010, hindi sila nag-file. 2010 to 2016, hindi sila nag-file. And then ngayon, pwede sila mag-file. Diba? So, and walang so I mean, the ICC should also look at our patterns and system. It's not only the period eh. So the second point I want to make is that for example, no, si Mr. Las Cañas as Mr. si Motabato, one, hindi naman dinala ni, and she's free to manifest here kung mali ako, di naman niya dinala sa DOJ or sa Ombudsman yung dalawa eh. After dalhin sa Senate, hindi ko na alam kung anong ginawa nila. Okay, two, assuming it was because they think walang mangyayari during Duterte's time, did anyone bring Edgar Matubato and Las Cañas either to the DOJ, NBI, or to the... Pwede bang dumiretso sa witness protection or...
Marami po kami nakakausap na possible witnesses.
Yes.
But not them.
Yeah.
But not Matubato.
But example lang, yung dalawa lang, no? So ang point ko lang, di ba, if the rest of the world, the European human rights activists, etc., for the record, SOJ, if these gentlemen are brought to you, and I'm not talking about the prosecutorial lang or DOJ, I'm talking about the whole machinery, the witness protection, the NBI, the PNP, the CIDG, will we investigate?
Yes, we will.
Yes.
We would have. We would have.
Diba? So, in the same manner that General Torre is complaining about vloggers who have fake news about him, if there are complaints about Marcos vloggers na fake news, you will also investigate CIDG, diba? I mean, people might believe or not, but you are duty bound to investigate whatever side, diba?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But of course, during Duterte's time, they did not believe. If kasuhan mo Duterte vloggers, they don't believe may mangyayari, di ba? But I think there were some na cyber libel, even during Duterte's time, no? So the point lang I'm making, and this is not addressed to you but to the international community, is that the Philippines is a vibrant democracy. Di ba? Our economy is good. The peaceful transition from Arroyo to Aquino, from Aquino to Duterte, from Duterte to Marcos has done as well. So yes, we have problems with politics now, but which country doesn't? The US, Europe and the US, di ba? May mga significant difference sila. I mean, many countries are at war. We're not at war. Di ba? We have problems with China, but we're working it out. Di ba? We have problems with other countries. We're working it out. We have problems with Pogo. We're working it out. Di ba? So my point is, di ba, na in my view, dito dapat, yes, accountability, pero dito dapat trinay ang ating dating Pangulo. The last point I want to make is that iba pa rin pag former president. I mean, sa US, na US Constitution nila that the Americans can't be tried elsewhere, but lalo kung US president. So sa akin kasi, kahit former siya, hindi na siya presidente, he's still a symbol. Diba? So like me, diba? You know how hard I went against President Arroyo when she was president. But when I was speaker, may pinagawa siya sa House, winelcome ko siya, etc. Kasi yung office, even if hindi ka na doon, nire-respeto mo pa rin iyon di ba? So,
maybe I have to tell in the Senate that nobody's happy with what happened.
Okay.
Wala akong maligaya sa nangyaring ito. Ngunit kailangan lang gawin namin yung aming katungkulan. Sa tingin namin yun ang aming katungkulan, ginawa namin ang aming tungkulin.
And sir, that's where we disagree kasi tingin namin there was another avenue to go to court. But as you said, that will be probably part of the litigation. So let's see the, not opinion, last few. So who received the March, so kailan po na-issue yung warrant? March 10 or March 11?
I know
March 11, sir.
March 11.
March